So moving on to Penguson. Penguson has now, I think there is now a little bit of a resolution. The federal government made an agreement on October 1st, so today, between the Petro Penguson and Dangote refinery. And this is what they're trying to say, that right now, I think at some point we had Ribadu come in. Ribadu joined in the whole discussion. And the whole thing had to do with them having some level of I would say compromises on both sides. So what in all essence, what has happened is this: the dispute, has been that Dangote would recall all of those unionized employees, which they shouldn't have been fired in the first place because they have the right to join whatever union they want to join. But at the same time, also, Dangote has the right to run his refineries with minimal disruption. So what they've agreed to do is that Dangote is going to recall all those 800 people that were summarily fired and put them in a different company outside of, in any of the Dangote group, companies within the Dangote group outside of the refinery. So they're no longer going to be working in the refineries. They're going to be working elsewhere within the Dangote group. And again, to me, I felt they could take the offer, but my the best way out of this for me would have been that they should have just paid them off, in a very good sum of money, and let them go look for something else, because wherever they take them to, they are already tainted. They would have been they already labeled as, these are the rebels. So I don't know how they're going to work. Summarily, I think at some point those guys might resign, or they might just take them out, and they will always be discriminated against. Yeah, because Dangote is not a nice man. Okay, let's just get that straight. Yeah, Dangote has agreed to immediately begin the process of redeploying the sacked Dangote refinery staff to other companies within the Dangote group with no loss of pay. And Penguson has agreed to start the process of calling off the strike. The federal government has announced it's successfully mediated. Yeah, and they had all those resolutions done. No worker will be victimized arising from their role in the impasse between Dangote and Penguson. Penguson agreed that they will call off the strike. Okay, that's a good thing. My observation: this is not a win-win situation, because deploying them to other companies, especially ones that are not within the ambit of oil and gas, means they will no longer be under the umbrella of Penguson and cannot be protected by the unions. I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that take. Yeah, but again, there's a big risk of bringing them back to Dangote refineries. Yeah, there's a real risk of sabotage. 800 people. That's a crowd. Again, and with recruitment mails flying, indicates that the refinery is already replacing the sacked staff. The new staff without joining Penguson. Yeah, the new staffs in Dangote would never want to join Penguson. So at the end of the day, the billionaire wins. I already said it. When you Google the owner of Nigeria, Dangote comes out. Dangote wins here. But again, it's better than sacking them. They should redeploy them, and then they would find their own way out. What I think Penguson should do is to help these guys over time to get jobs in places where they will still be under Penguson. That's the minimum they could do. But Dangote runs a private company. Let's be sincere with ourselves. Okay? Yeah, I think I saw this. Dangote technically won the battle from the very beginning. The goal was to keep Penguson from having influence in the company, and that has been achieved. Penguson ended up losing over 800 members as a result. Okay. So again, that's it. Breaking Dangote group to redeploy staff. Okay, yeah, I've seen all of this. Okay, so that's it.